Good evening, class. This is Garrett, and this is my Module 2 reflection based on the readings for this module. So I'm just going to go into a few things that stood out to me. First is, I guess, just the background of where all these different types of institutions came from. Today, I guess we mainly have the liberal arts for four-year colleges, liberal arts institutions, and then the major research institutions. I guess it stood out to me just because I never really realized that where they came from, or kind of like the history that surrounded them. So I guess just the differences between the models that we read about in the Burnquist and Pollock, engaging the six cultures of the academy reading. So the first one, the British model, that kind of has this emphasis on the liberal arts that we know today. It got a lot of backing from, I guess, the Oxfords and the Cambridge of the world back then, to kind of shift this well-rounded individual, and they had a focus on quality over quantity, that emphasized liberal arts education, which they had control of the environment, which then moves into, these are out of order, but the Scottish model, that was in the same chapter, where they kind of focused on memorization and kind of like hard facts, that relied on lectures as a main form of instruction from professors. And then I guess one that's relevant today is the German model, which influenced these big research institutions, where America wanted to kind of get into this thought of higher education so that they could be on the forefront of major scientific and technological advances, by creating different powerful research institutions that we know today throughout the country. And just one quote that kind of stood out to me, that kind of raised a few questions as we were talking about faculty at different institutions, is the quote's on page 28 of the Burnquist and Pollock reading. It says, "It is often said that faculty members have a major loyalty to their discipline or professional field of knowledge rather than to the college or university that they practice their profession." And I just think of that as, it's interesting to think, because most professors or faculty members do only teach in their field of study, so does it really matter to them if they're at a liberal arts education or institution, or if they're at a major research institution? As long as they're teaching subjects or their field, that they enjoy, is there really any difference to what they're seeing? Or do faculty have a different view of that? So that kind of just got me thinking about these different models and where they came from, and kind of how it impacts faculty at different institutions that we have today. The next slide, college culture on campuses. This kind of got me thinking about just my knowledge of different cultures on campuses, and kind of my views on that. So the research institutions, the main powerful, large research institutions that we know today, it seems that a lot of the culture that is surrounding those does come from athletics and fraternity sorority life on the student side of things. I know I work in athletics, so I see it a lot, but a lot of the culture does surround big Power 5 football institutions, and that's kind of the culture that goes along with these research institutions, along with having a big Greek life presence on campus as well. That's kind of just on the student side of things. I think, obviously, research, if professors are more inclined to do research at these large power or research institutions, and more of their focus is probably based on that. I'm going back to the module last week and some videos that were posted of some of peers in this class that attended large research institutions, and they talked about how a lot of their classes did have TAs or grad assistants, and they didn't really interact with the professor because their main priority was research. Kind of liberal arts institution. I went to, I guess, I didn't go to a research institution for undergrad. I went to a more liberal arts college. Um, but it seemed that they offered more programs and clubs to kind of other ways for students to get involved, whether that's through the academic department or student affairs, just various ways for students to get involved but on the faculty side of things, our faculty still taught in their discipline, but they were more hands-on with students, creating this more inclusive culture um, on campuses. So, and then the last bullet, I have their academic programs offered. I think just looking at UNCW, how they stress that it's the coastal university of the UNC system, and then we have a large marine sciences program. So definitely just figuring out not only where your institution is located, but what the strengths are for academic programs, and if you're like a strong engineering school or just strong business school or marine sciences, what have you, and then that kind of creates the culture of students and faculty that come to campus. So that is my module 2 reflection reaction to the readings. I look forward to seeing everyone else's and reacting to those as well. Thanks.